Here is the doe that I killed last night. It was pretty late and cold weather, so I didn't mess with her. I just hung her up outside overnight. But now it's time to get to it. I'm gonna do this video. If you're not into this sort of thing, you really shouldn't watch this. I'm gonna show you how I skin and debone my deer. Not saying it's the right way, not saying it's the only way or the best way. I'm saying it's my way. So if you do something differently that you think works a little better than what I'm gonna show here, let me know in the comments. I always love to learn new ways to do stuff, and you know what they say, there's many ways to skin a deer. This is my way.
So whenever I skin my deer, I like to hang them from the head. Some people like to hang them the other way with the head down. I think it's all just a matter of what's comfortable to you or how you've learned to do it. But I start by cutting around the neck. On a doe, I don't go up too high. On a buck, you can go right up to the bottom of the jaw because you can get a lot of good meat off of that neck on a bigger deer. After you go around the neck, I go right down the center of the throat down toward the breastplate. And what I'm doing, I've got my skinning knife. I'm just kind of pulling with one hand and then running the sharp edge of that knife between the skin and the meat. The front shoulders are probably about the worst part of the whole deal. You got to kind of work around, get that skin up over that shoulder. Once I get the skin up over those shoulders, I'll cut the inside of the armpit down to what would be the front knee, and then just peel that skin back around that leg down to that knee joint. You don't really need to go any lower than that because there's not really any meat down there. Here I had to go get my sharpening rod, put an edge back on that knife. And I will say the quality of knives and sharpening rod that you've got, the easier this process is. I've had some cheap knives in the past, and just this last year I upgraded and got some pretty good quality knives, and it does make a big difference when you go to cutting meat up. Here you can see how I was talking about going around that leg, getting that skin off of that, pulling it down. You always want to be careful. Right there I'm working with where my arrow entered the body. You want to be kind of careful because you can rip that flesh. Now I was taking my time on this one because my buddy Trent wanted this hide to tan for a friend. So I was trying to go a little extra slow that I didn't slice through the hide anywhere. This is my little skinning buddy here. She absolutely loves to skin deer with me. Every time I kill a deer, that's the first thing she says is, when are we gonna skin it? It's really strange because she's a girly girl by all aspects except this one. For some reason, she's okay with it. I installed this chain hoist in my shop last year. Got it from Harbor Freight for I think around $40. But it sure does make it a lot easier. Just like you can see there, it was getting pretty low to the ground, and I was able to raise that doe up back up to head height where I'm not bending over trying to skin down low. So when I get down to these hindquarters, I run the inside of that leg just like I did up top on the front shoulders, and then I'll slice around where the knee is and peel all that skin back the same way. The whole time you're just letting gravity pull that skin down toward the ground. there I'm cutting that inside portion of that thigh. And there I'm going around the leg. Do another pull. Cut the tail off. I left that tail in there. I wasn't sure if he needed it in there or not for what he was going to do with that hide. And there you go. That's the skinning part of the deer. So now, the next thing I do while she's still up high, I start to cut the rear quarters off. You don't have to do this. You can debone this meat with the legs on the deer. This is just the way I've always done it, and it's the way I like to do it. I'll cut the quarter off and then stick my knife in until I find the edge of that femur bone. And as soon as I find the edge of that bone, I want to run my knife right down the edge of it, keeping it up against that bone to get the biggest chunks of meat off possible. I usually turn those back hams, I turn them into roasts mainly, or steak. Then you can whittle around. Right there I'm getting in that pelvic bone, and there's meat and just little pockets in there. You can just kind of feel around with your hands and take what you want out of there. Now I'm doing the same thing on the other side. On these back ones, on that pelvic bone, there's a little ball in there, and what you're trying to do is right there, I'm pulling it apart and trying to get that knife up in there to find where that ball is, and you can almost break that ball joint loose, and then that leg comes off. To me, it's just all about cutting through the meat and finding those spots where those bones connect and things are held together. You can see there, I'm finding the edge of that bone, taking all that meat off like that. Now I'm going to lower her back down. Now the front shoulders, they don't have that ball and cup situation that the back legs do. You just find that plate, that shoulder blade, and run your knife right along it, and they come off real easy. You can almost just pull them off there. I like to do them this way, and I put them in those tubs, and then I'll take them into the house and finish processing them down in the kitchen, so I'm not out doing that out where it's dirty and cold. And that day wet. That day was cold and wet. So on this dough, I'm taking just a little bit of neck meat. A lot of times I'll make good jerky meat because it's already kind of stringy and tough anyway. On some of the bigger bucks, you can get some roasts out of the neck. Now the best part, in my opinion, you want to run your knife right down the edge of their spine, and then this side I'm putting my knife on the edge of the ribs. And you can run your knife down and feel each one of them ribs, and you just keep cutting and pulling on that back strap to get it out of there. And it's kind of a triangle shape when it comes out, but you'll be able to see the spine on one side and the ribs on the other. And you just want to keep your knife up against it. There I'm shaving a little bit off I missed. I like to peel that silver skin and that fat off there before I get to that back strap. Same thing as the other side. Finding the spine, finding the ribs, running your knife along the edges of them. And when you do it right, they'll just almost fall out of there. I do find it's easier to do the right side of the deer than the left side for me. I kind of struggle. I'm right-handed, and for some reason that left side, it kind of boogers me up a little bit. But there you go. Got the back straps out. Probably gonna do it for this one. So I'll debone them a little more, and that'll be stuff that's for scrap, for grind, for sausage, whatever. But I'll get in, I'll whittle away on all this stuff and cut out like that piece there. So you can cut out some stuff that'll grind really good. So the rest of this will be coyote food because they need to eat too. I don't get real particular. I know a lot of people want to dig in every little nook and cranny and stand here all day long whittling away on them. I figure, you know, there are other critters out there that do need to eat, and they can eat this. And I can always go buy another tag and go get another doe if I need to. But that's how I skin and quarter, like I said, or debone. I'm not saying it's right. It's a lot easier if you have someone helping just hold the thing steady. But this is the way I've done it for years. I started doing it because I couldn't afford the processing fees anymore. And actually now around here where I live, there's very few places that'll actually cut deer up anymore. So you pretty well got to know how to do it. But like I said, if you're new to it and you're wanting to get into it, it's not difficult. You know, you just got to take the time and whittle away on them. Take as much or as little meat as you would like, as you're comfortable with. But yeah, like I said, that's what I like to do. So I'll probably do another video, because what I do at this point, I guess I need to say that. At this point, what I do is I move, I take my tubs inside and I do the rest in the kitchen. I cut them up into the actual cuts, I package them, label them, all that stuff. So I'll do another video showing that part of the process.